Thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to register for this webinar. You know, I've been bragging about Talcott all year so far. I think I've only even done presentations with Talcott this year. So I'm super excited and very thankful to have VP of Sales Sam West with us today. And for housekeeping, because we've got about 36 people registered, so it's going to be a great turnout. Appreciate you all for attending. I see some of you guys are still coming in. And for those that aren't able to attend, we of course record this, but just for housekeeping, I need about 10 minutes just to tell everybody that's been here for a while a good reminder of what we offer here at IAMS. And then for those that haven't been with IAMS or done any business with us, this is a great way just to get to know us a little bit. So I am going to go ahead and jump right into this. So our new producer builders, this is for people that have not done business with IAMS yet. Everybody, when they first sign on to IAMS, gets 180 days to do the 5 different levels of production. And I've seen people do this fairly quickly. I've seen people do this just off of one case, depending on case level sizes, of course. So we start up at the $100,000 level. And you get different incentives like iPad, $750 cash, 1,500 postcard mailings, or if you do mailers. And this goes all the way up to the $1 million level. At that $1 million level, I've seen people do that with one case. I've seen people do that with a nice mixture of cases. So by any means, don't feel limited by what you're seeing on the screen. I've seen people surpass this even. So the nice part about all of these incentives are this is what we have as suggestions, but you don't have to feel limited by these different incentives, because a lot of you guys that are already seasoned already have their marketing in line, already come with different things that are working for you guys. So if that's the case, just let us know. We're always open to communication and want to work with you. So if you have something in mind, if you have new ideas that you want to test out with us, just let us know, and we're really flexible in that sense. Once you graduate past the 180 days, you do get a nice marketing reimbursement account. So for every $100,000 of annuity premium that you're doing, you get $100 in marketing reimbursement back. So you can reallocate that into marketing, into leads, into brochures if you do any kind of paper handouts, really anything. I have some people also putting that right back to pay for their CRM. I have lots of different ideas that I can share with you. And this also applies to the life insurance side. So for every $100,000 of single premium life insurance that you're doing, you get $200 back. And for every $10,000 that you're doing in life target, so term insurance, whole life, you get $200 back as well, and that only requires $10,000 of premium. So that adds up really quick. I always suggest that my agents have a nice healthy blend of annuities and life insurance, really to keep that marketing balance growing. Another way that you can increase your capital here with IAMS is through our referred producer program. So we give you a $50 one-time bonus once you refer a fellow agent of yours to us. So for any colleagues, for any fellow agents that you'd like to refer over to us because you really loved our service, we will give you a $50 one-time bonus. And once they do right, you also get a little override action as well. That override does not come from their commissions. That actually comes from IAMS. So that is a thank you check that we give you on a quarterly basis based on how much they're writing as well. So on Life Target, you get 15 basis points. So any term, whole life that they're doing, 15 basis points. Single premium life, you get 75 basis points back. So if they submit a nice $500,000 single premium life insurance case, that's a nice 70 basis points that you get off of that. On indexed annuities, 20 basis points. So if they're doing any FIAs with Talcott, for example, if they're doing any FIA business at all, you get 20 basis points. And then for MIGAs, you get 10 basis points. So really, really strong way to keep developing that here with IAMS on a quarterly basis. And then we have great back office support. As I was going through that last slide, I think I forgot to mention my name. So part of the biggest back office support that we have here at IAMS is our people. And so my name is Kat. I'm an annuity sales director here. I've been here for a few years now. It's been a great experience. My experience actually came from the field. I used to be a captive agent with a big agency, starting off on the Medicare side, but the people that have been here at IAMS are so experienced, so seasoned, and have just an abundance of knowledge. And so when it comes to the back office support, amongst all of the traditional stuff that a lot of the IMOs give, we also have just the best people to service you guys. And we've got great relationships with our carriers. But aside from the people that we have in our new business, our marketing team, our contracting department, the business building tools that we have on our website are all in one place. We also have different forms that you can access through our annuity service department. So for example, I'll have agents call in, ask for change of agent form. I'll have RMD forms that they'll request. Instead of having to go through the carrier, wait for the hold time on that, you can just come directly to us and we'll send that right over to you. So really great back office support. As I mentioned, our IAMS website has everything all in one place. So you can submit your business on our Luma Firelight tool. You could submit your life insurance on iPipeline. We've also got great quoting tools. So both term quoting and annuity rate watch is what we have access to. And so you have all of these things at your fingertips at no additional cost. This is all for our contracted agents. And these are EAP solutions that I quickly mentioned just a second ago. Luma Firelight, iPipeline, Sunfire. Sunfire not as much as what I see, but Luma Firelight and iPipeline, of course. Luma has been a really great addition. It's the middle tier port to Firelight. I know a lot of us are used to just that big blue screen Firelight. But Luma has been an incredible enhancement, and we've seen it since day one. We've constantly seen them improve on what they said they were going to do. And so eventually down the line, they'll also be able to keep your trainings all in one place right before you go into the application. So that's wonderful. And with Luma, you can also see a track record of all of the pending applications on all of your in-force business. So if you're someone that does a lot of great MIGA business, you'll actually be able to track all of that on Luma and see if they're going to be coming out of force anytime soon. And that's really nice, especially because most of these carriers are now subscribed with Luma. So really great opportunity there to capitalize in your practice without having to go through spreadsheets, without having to go back to your CRM and whatnot. And then we do have our creative services. So we're really lucky to have our inbound or our in-house creative department. So they all come into the office just like we do. And this is all they do day in and day out. And the biggest thing on here on this slide that I don't think we mentioned is CJ. He's our marketing implementation specialist. And so just like you have your annuity marketers and your life insurance marketers, you have CJ now, and he does all marketing all day. So he knows all of the lead programs like the back of his hand. And he can really work with you and put together a 90-day success plan, which I've seen him do for a lot of my agents. And he works with your budget. He works with what your goals are and what your plans are for this year. So he's been a really huge asset to IAMS and someone I wanted to shout out in this creative department. And then we have our agency solutions, digital solutions, turnkey options. Ryan does a great job on our websites. He focuses on search engine optimization, so SEO. He's worked on a couple of my agents' websites, and whenever they type in my agent's name, their website is the first thing to come up and their Google reviews. So he knows really how to put you in the forefront and in a really amazing light whenever your clients or prospects are looking you up. So that's really huge. And of course, for some of our agents that aren't as digital friendly, we do have some great turnkey solutions like handouts, brochures, flyers that our creative team can certainly help you work with and work on. So certainly if you're not taking advantage of our creative department, I highly recommend that you do. They also have a marketing analysis. So this is something that we do with CJ. Before CJ came, it was just us, your sales directors, doing this on top of doing all your case management. So again, CJ has been a huge, huge help in this. This is a two-piece process. So in this first process, we're asking you a series of questions to really refine your target market, strengthen your brand, and explore new marketing opportunities. And we customize this and collaborate with you so that at the end of this process, in the second piece of this process, you have a good 20, 25 pages of marketing recommendations plus your 90-day success plan. So this is a really great service that we offer complimentary here at IAMS. And then, of course, we've got our IAMS Wealth Management team. So our IAMS Wealth Management team is solid. They are right down the street from us. They're some of the most educated, knowledgeable, sharpest people I know, but even though they have all the smarts behind them, all of the money behind them, they're still some of the most humble people that I've ever met. And their value propositions include increasing revenue, improving client retention, and strengthening relationships. And they will certainly do that with you. I actually just got off the line with Chad. Chad is part of our Advisor Direct program. So if you are currently not licensed on the security side, for one, they have a great starter program for those aspiring to become securities licensed, but also for those that would rather not, we have this great Advisor Direct program where we have an advisor that's ready to help manage the funds so that you can continue to keep control of that client on their insurance side, whether you're doing their Medicare, their annuities, their life insurance, or maybe you do all of it, you just don't want to do the security side. They're a really, really great partner that we have that's all in-house. So they're just down the street, really great people. And if you have any questions about that, definitely don't hesitate to let us know. And then we've got our Life and Annuity Academy before we wrap up. We've actually got our first one coming up here in April. That's the 8th through the 10th. It's a 3-day live in-person training event, all expenses paid. And we feature some great keynote speakers. We've got some exclusive carriers lined up so that you can meet their VPs and meet them in person. And you'll also get to network with some of our own top agents that have been here with IAMS for a really long time. Be a great way to strategize, see what's working for them. Plus, you get a nice tour of our headquarters. So we would love to have you here, but spots are filling up quickly. And usually it will be the carriers that will decide who ends up being on our list. So we want to fill up that list as quickly and as much as we can right off the bat. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us. And before I let you guys go, I wanted to launch a quick poll while you look at our Facebook and our LinkedIn. These are great ways that you can get a hold of us to give us a quick follow. But before I do that, I'm going to launch that quick poll. So are you open to exploring new annuity solutions this year? So I'm going to go ahead and launch that. To go ahead, give us a vote. And then later on, I'll also ask you if you guys would like to attend our Life and Annuity Academy. Again, we are trying to fill up these slots as quickly as possible. I appreciate all of you guys voting. It looks like everybody that's in attendance is voting right now, so that's really great. So thank you guys again. And then I've got one more poll before I pass this over to Sam. So do you want to be invited to our Life and Annuity Academy? Now, some of you guys may already come in the last couple of years, so we appreciate you guys taking the time to vote. I'm going to go ahead and end that quickly, and I am going to go ahead and pass this over to Sam.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. And I will go ahead and share my screen here. I think that is the right one. Screen 2. Let's share. How's that look, Kat?
That looks good to me, Sam.
All right, perfect. Well, First, I just want to start by, saying thank you to everybody at IAMS and Kat and for your partnership. And we look forward to working with everybody here in 2026. And we are just absolutely thrilled about our recent product launch here at the beginning of the year. And just a thank you to all of you who are joining and taking time away from your day to be on our webinar here this afternoon. So my name's Sam Wiss. Probably haven't had an opportunity to meet many of you yet. But I look forward to it. I'm located here in West Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm happy to serve as the relationship manager for IAMS with Talcott. And I'll go ahead and jump into things, and I believe you'll have the ability to ask any questions through the chat, and I'm happy to take any questions at the end as well. But really figured today we'd spend our time talking about three things. First, who is Talcott? We'll discuss the history of our company, our roots, and who we are, along with some of the key members of our leadership team. Next, we'll discuss our Assurance 10 product that we recently launched, which is extremely competitive in guaranteed income. We'll look at how the product works, its differentiators, and the client ages and deferral periods where it's most competitive. And lastly, we'll take a look at our operational systems that we're currently running on. We know how important service is when you're looking at giving a new carrier a chance, and we want to do everything that we can to get off on the right foot. And we'll also discuss our suitability stance and process and the types of business that we'll accept, just so you know that on the front end. And also, I'll touch on our producer incentive that we have running for the full year 2026. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into things. When we talk about Talcott, while Talcott might be a newer name, we often say we're new, but we're not new. We're a new entrant, but we're not a startup. We recently entered back into the retail annuity market with our product launch at the beginning of the year with IAMS. However, Talcott is actually built on over 100 years of experience, as we have roots back to Hartford Life, and Hartford Life started in 1902. If you don't know Talcott, Hartford Life might be a name you're more familiar with. Hartford Life in the early 2000s, they were actually the industry's #1 seller of variable annuities. Hartford Life, they ended up getting out of the business. They shed their life and annuity block. And in 2018, Talcott purchased that block. And that has helped us get to where we are currently with $126 billion in AUM. In 2021, Talcott was acquired by Sixth Street. Sixth Street is a private equity firm with 120 billion in AUM themselves, and they are our strategic partners who provide asset management expertise along with the capital to really fuel our growth. So all in all, annuities are not something new to us as an organization. And at Talcott, we're currently A- rated by AM Best. We have over 500 employees. Many of those employees are located in our headquarters that are in Hartford, Connecticut, and we currently have 1.2 million contracts on our books from either policies that we've issued in the past as Hartford Life or that we currently reinsure from some of the industry's top names. So as you can see, we're new, but we're veterans in the annuity space, and here we are in 2026 getting back into the retail annuity market, and that push is really being driven by a few prominent individuals that I'll talk about next. So our CEO is Imran Siddiqui, and Imran, he has a really rich history of growing life insurance and annuity companies throughout his career. Imran was actually part of the group and one of the driving forces at Apollo when Apollo founded Athene and really grew Athene into the annuity giant that it is today. Ryan Lex, who's also here on the screen that I'll talk about in a second, when he and I were having conversations about Imran and some of the things that drew Ryan to Talcott, Ryan remembers during his time at Athene, Imran actually wanted his compensation in Athene stock. That's how much he believed in what he was doing at Apollo, and that's how much confidence that he had in his ability to build a great insurance company. And he's really looking to replicate that success here again with Talcott. So that is Imran. Our head of retail and the leader of our sales team is Ryan Lex. Ryan Lex has been around the IMO and independent distribution channel for a very long time. Prior to Talcott, Ryan was formerly chief distribution officer at Ibexus, and prior to that, he led the IMO channel at Athene. So, Ryan, he has a very big commitment to the independent space, and success follows him wherever he goes. And we're thrilled to have both Imran and Ryan at the helm, really leading the charge for us here at Talcott. So that's a little bit about Talcott as a company. And next, I want to shift into our flagship product, Assurance 10, which I mentioned earlier is built for guaranteed income. So you're probably seeing it show up if you use an ARW. I know Kat mentioned that earlier. If you use an annuity rate watch to spreadsheet income, you might be seeing Talcott show up there. But guaranteed income is an area where we want to win and where we are top of market right now in some key cells. So, as we look at our assurance product, I think it makes a bit of sense to look at the why around income planning with FIAs. If we look back historically, for decades, Americans relied on defined benefit plans and pensions to provide guaranteed income for life. And it was employers who took on the burden of turning savings into a paycheck for life. But there's been really just a massive shift that we've seen take place over the last 30 plus years. Defined benefit plans are now few and far between and are very rarely offered by employers. And there's been this big emergence of defined contribution plans, your 401ks, IRAs, 403bs. Those all really took the place of defined benefit plans. And this is really evident, and this shift can be seen if we look at the numbers that you see here on the screen. From 1975 to 2022, defined benefit plans have basically been halved, while defined contribution plans are up 236% over that same time period. So, retirees, your clients, they're now essentially forced to become their own pension manager, and they have to hopefully work with a financial professional like yourself and answer some big questions, right? What happens if the market dips as I'm nearing retirement? How much money can I spend each month and pull from my portfolio? Is this going to last a lifetime? Is this going to last the rest of my life? And, what if there was a way to transfer some of that risk and once again create a personal pension plan, one that you can't outlive? And we can do exactly that with our Assurance 10 product. So our Assurance 10, we only have a 10-year duration, no 7-year, just a 10-year. It will issue from ages 40 to 85. There is a $25,000 minimum and $2 million maximum. We do both qualified and non-qualified ownership. We take non-qual stretch business as well. I know there's not a home for a lot of that business, and there's few carriers that accept non-qual stretches. We take those. We also do inherited IRAs when they are spousal. And we recently gained the ability to do Roth conversions and partial Roth conversions as well here internally. So something to keep in mind as you begin to work with Talcott. 10% free withdrawals begin in year 2 and a full death benefit that's equal to the account value. Now, Assurance 10 has an income rider, and there are 2 distinct rider options. And depending on your client's needs and when they want to begin their income stream, one or the other, option 1 or option 2, will need to be selected at contract issue. So option 1, early path. This is really built for earlier activation of an income stream. For early path, individuals will receive a 20% income-based bonus at issue, and then there's a 4% compound interest roll-up every year for 10 years. There is no wait whatsoever to turn on income once the policy begins, and we are extremely competitive in immediate income, in early income, really deferral periods of 2 or less. I'll show you a heat map here momentarily that really highlights the competitiveness of our rider. But that's option 1. Now, option 2, future path, there's no income-based bonus, but instead your clients receive a 10% compound interest roll-up for 10 years and 5% for a year for years 11 to 15. So a total of 15-year roll up. Also, if someone defers until year 10 and beyond, they receive a 20% income boost. What's an income boost? Basically, you take their attained age payout factor, whatever that is, multiply it by 120%. So if your client has a 5% payout factor, multiply it by 120%, that payout factor goes to 6. So that is what the income boost is. And as you can imagine, after 10 years with that income boost, with option 2, we are extremely competitive with option 2 in deferral years of 10 and beyond for really a wide variety or a wide range of issue ages. And again, we'll look at a heat map here in a second, but that's how the rider works. Now, I think it makes sense next to really look at the payout factors. So for each path or option, option 1, option 2, they each have their own payout factors that increase every year with attained age. We have a single life payout and a joint life payout and level payment options. The single life payout at age 65 for option 1 early path is 6.9%. So extremely competitive. And these single life or joint life payouts, they can be decided at the time of income activation. You don't have to decide that at the time of application. And so, that's the riders in sort of how they work. We know how the rider works. We know what the payout factors are. Let's take a look at a heat map to see how Assurance 10 stacks up against the rest of the guaranteed income marketplace. So this heat map, it includes nearly every product and guaranteed income rider in the market. The chart shows Talcott's Assurance 10 product and its rank in each age and deferral period. On the left-hand side of the chart, you have issue age, and as you move to the right on the chart, that's the withdrawal delay for activating the rider. So again, for early path, we are currently top or very near the top of the market for immediate income, really stretching from late 50s to mid 70s. For future path, we're extremely competitive and top of market from, really mid 50s to late 60s with a 10-year deferral and beyond. So 2 different sleeves, if you will, with early path, immediate income or 1-year deferrals are really competitive. And then with the future path, deferrals of 10 years and beyond, again, top of market in that area as well. So when you have clients, you're sitting down with clients with income needs at those age ranges and deferral periods, Assurance 10 is certainly a great option there. I do want to touch on a couple additional details that I think are really important for the Assurance product. First, the annual rider charge is 0.85%, so less than 1%. It is based on the income benefit base, but I think at 0.85, that is relatively low cost compared to other income rider charges in the industry. Most rider costs are north of 1%. Also, we have an enhanced income benefit, and the enhanced income benefit is an ADL-driven doubler. If a client is unable to perform 2 of 6 ADLs, things like eating, bathing, dressing, their income amount can double for a period of up to 5 years or until the account value hits 0. There is a 1-year wait for that feature to become available. I know some of the others in the marketplace can be a 2-year wait or 3-year wait, but only a 1-year wait with this doubler. So also a nice thing. I know rates on an income product are a little bit secondary, but the current rates for Assurance 10 for that cash value and accumulated value growth are here on the screen, highlighted by a 3.25 S&P 500 cap rate. And lastly, some fairly standard contract features and provisions. 10% free withdrawals are available in year 2 and beyond, and we also have nursing home and terminal illness waivers available at no additional cost. And for Assurance 10, I do want to also note that the street compensation for the product is 7%. So market competitive there from a comp perspective as well. So we've talked about Talcott as a company. We've went through Assurance 10. Lastly, I do want to touch on operations and suitability and how we've really strived to make doing business with us as easy as possible. At Talcott, prior to the launch, we've spent really the last 12 to 18 months building and refining the systems that are, fairly standard in the industry. And we think we found a really great offering with our current tech stack. From a licensing and contracting perspective, we are using Surance Bay and Sure LC. You all are probably familiar with that. And if you've been in the industry for a little while, and in the product training to take to be able to sell any of our FIAs are all in Surance Bay and Sure LC. So you can actually do the training as you go through the licensing process, which is really nice. You don't have to hop out to a different vendor. Our illustration software is with Firelight and Foresight, and our e-application is also with Firelight. So the application and illustrations, they kind of talk to each other. The information from the illustrations can be ported into the application, but we try to do everything and want to do everything electronically to make your lives as easy as possible, right? And I'm sure you're familiar with Firelight. Again, if you've been writing business for some time, it should be a very familiar system to you. We do daily issuances, and we want to get you paid faster. So commissions are next day when policies issue. And again, we do daily issuances with all of our business, and we have portals online for both you as a financial professional and your customers. So everything is out there online. Policies can be fully serviced in the portals and through the portals. All that is available and out there. So you get a login once you get contracted with Talcott. And I think one other thing that I like to note and highlight is we want to do everything that we can electronically to make your lives easier, but we do have a great operations staff and team in Hartford, and their average tenure is 13 years for members of our operations staff. So I think that it goes a long way in speaking to the experience that a lot of our folks have in the home office in Hartford. So ultimately, like I mentioned prior, we want to be easy to do business with. We want to get policies issued faster. We want to reduce NIGOs as much as possible. And we want everything to be done electronically and seamlessly. So that is a bit on our operations. And then I also want to touch base on suitability. From a suitability standpoint, there are some guidelines, again, that I want to mention as potential opportunities when it comes to guaranteed income and the type of business that we'll accept. So if you are looking to move into Assurance 10 and it's an income product to income product replacement, with how competitive our Assurance 10 product is, we currently beat many other carriers' guaranteed income payouts. And when that's the case, when our income beats the other carrier's income, we will take cases where our guaranteed income amount wins, and we will allow up to a 7% net loss to a client's account value. Again, assuming it's not a no loss state and all other suitability guidelines are met. We will also look at cases where we win in income by a substantial amount and the loss to a client's account value is more than 7. But again, those would need to be examined on a case-by-case basis. We have to look a little bit, deeper, if you will, into a client's financial situation on the front end before making that determination and ensuring it's in their best interest and there is a need for that additional income. But if you're running across those, you think you can put your clients in better situations, certainly reach out to the folks at IAMS and they can run those by us for you. We have a pre-suitability document that we can look at beforehand, so you can get our stance on it as well. Some other notable suitability guidelines: contracts must be enforced for at least 2 years when we're looking at replacements with any of our FIAs. Annuity to net worth ratio, I know that's another big one. For us, that really depends on a client age, but we will go up to 85% in annuities with 2 million or more in assets for a client, as long as they have 36 months of expenses in liquid assets. So we have our suitability guidelines. They're published, they're out there. But if you have any questions on them, again, we're always happy to look at things and give guidance on, potential cases that you might have. So that is suitability. And lastly, we understand nearly all carriers are offering the ability, for you all as producers to earn above and beyond street compensation. So we are doing that as well here through 2026. As a reminder, street commission is 7 on our 10-year products. And this producer incentive that you see here on the screen is live now and runs through the end of December 2026. The first tier begins at 2 million in issued premium and maxes out at 10 million, where you can earn an additional 150 on FIA business. All bonuses are paid retro to $1. 5 and 7 year FIA business counts towards tier qualification, but does pay 50% less additional comp. MIGA business, we do have a MIGA as well. That does not count towards qualification, or we do not pay additional comp on that as well. So do want to make note of those. Yeah, with that, I just want to thank you all again. Thank you to Kat and IAMS for having us on. All of our marketing material and product collateral, you can find it online on our website, talcott.com, under resources. If you'd like to get contracted, again, please reach out to Kat and your team at IAMS. But we would welcome the opportunity to work with all of you. And with that, I will turn it back over to Kat and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. You always do such a great job at telling the Talcott story. I feel like every time I jump on with you, I pick up new things about the product. So, absolutely love that. And I've got a few questions, both for myself and for some of the agents.
Yeah,
Thomas
sure.
Chessmore, I know, I think I actually helped you out, and you're working with Laura, Thomas. So shout out to you. He did mention that he just got contracted with Talcott, and it was indeed very easy. So thank you so much for that. Shout out, Thomas. I'm glad
Let's
that you had a
go.
great experience doing that. I know last time we were talking, you were working through some income replacement. So I hope that Talcott could be a good home for some of that piece that you were working through. He did have a question though. He asked, so if you claim on the income doubler and the contract is at 0, do you go back to the one-time payment? So I'm not too sure about the one-time payment. Maybe Sam, you might know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the doubler, the doubled income amount is in effect. But if the account value goes to 0, that doubled amount is reduced to the original just single payment, not doubled amount. The income stream certainly doesn't stop. It just reverts from the doubled amount back to the original payment. So it's a max of 5 years, or until that account value hits 0. If one of those occur, it goes back to that original payment, the non-doubled amount.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty standard. Some carriers don't even allow that payment at all once the account value is at 0, so that's pretty good.
Sure. Yeah.
And then my question was, did I hear you guys say you guys are doing Roth conversions now?
We are. Yeah, we have that
Okay,
ability. So
nice,
we're doing Roth
nice.
conversions now. Yeah, industry wide, we know that's been a big initiative and something that is great for clients, and producers are really taking advantage of that, and um, having the ability to do that is huge and something that we've been big advocates for. So we have the ability to do it. We are actually working on internal sort of marketing collateral, if you will, that we are going to distribute out to you all and out to kind of the field in general. But I
Okay.
figured I'd just say, hey, we can do it. We have the ability to operationally.
That's
It
so
just
awesome.
hasn't been broadcast really widely
Well, you heard it here, folks. You guys are the first ones to know about this.
yet.
That's great.
Absolutely.
And so are you guys going to be doing both partial and full, or just partial?
Both. Yeah. Yep.
Nice. That is awesome. Well, we can't wait for those flyers to come out.
You
And
bet.
so I assume that this isn't live until the flyers come out or the materials
We
come
can
out.
do it now. We can technically do it now. So
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
if you have contracts on the books already, yeah, we can do those partial conversions or those full conversions. Yeah, we have the functionality. So
With the
yeah, we
Aspire
actually.
series, I'm
What's
assuming.
that?
With the Aspire series, I'm assuming.
Yep,
Okay.
we can do them with really. I don't think there's any product limitations. We can do them with any of our products.
Very cool. That's super exciting. That's a nice bonus for you guys that have attended. And for those that are going to be watching this recording, that's huge news.
Absolutely.
So, really
Yeah,
awesome, Sam. I'm sorry. I
absolutely.
don't know if I cut you off there a second
No,
ago.
no, no. You're good. You're good.
Okay, well, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in today. There was a lot of really great material that we covered, and I'll be passing along the suitability that Sam mentioned. Thomas himself said that it was really easy to get contracted. Oh, I see one more question here before I let you go, Sam. What is the age limit to start the option one annuity? Um, so Phil, I think she's talking about maximum and minimum ages, but I can certainly pass that forward with the marketing material.
Yeah, I think 40 to 85 is yeah,
Hmm.
40 to 85 is for our assurance product. Yep.
Yeah, which is pretty good because some carriers don't start until like 45 or
Okay.
50. So that's pretty competitive, just so you know too. Like I quoted a 41-year-old today. Um, the only other carrier that I think came up was Athene, so that was really awesome.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, thank you again so much, Sam, and thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, I'll be reaching out to all of you guys with the material, and then we look forward to doing another time slot with you sometime soon, Sam.
Awesome. You guys always do such a great job with these. So thanks so much for your partnership and having us on, Kat. And it's been a pleasure working with you the past 2 months, and look forward to the future as well. So again, thanks so much for having us on.
Absolutely. Likewise, Sam. You guys
All
all have
right.
a great day.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.